edition of the Entrepreneurs Collective Pitch Competition. I'm Michael Blakely, and I am the founder of the Entrepreneurs Collective. And I'm really super excited because firstly, this is our last event of the year, but also because we have some great startups and some great judges. And we are well on course for this being the biggest event of the year, with, I think, approaching 120 participants already. So fingers crossed. I think our biggest so far is about 130. So I'm confident we'll get there over the next 5 or 10 minutes. But just to give you a little bit of background first on myself. So I'm a founder, not just of the Entrepreneurs Collective, but of my own startup. So my background is as a lawyer. I specialize in compliance and data protection. But I also worked a little bit at an accelerator program in Stockholm, and that is where I caught the startup bug. Where I went a little bit rogue, and I built a dating app. So a little bit different to what I was doing. But as a sort of first-time founder, I'll be the first to admit it was a steep learning curve, and I made a lot of mistakes. And certainly in the first year or two, I found that there was lots of things, where I really struggled with. So, I suffered from bad referrals. I used companies that I shouldn't have, that did a bad service for me. I really struggled to find a community of good founders where I could bounce ideas off. And even talk about, everything from advertising or marketing or how to build out a development team. So for all of these reasons, and having looked around London for a community like that, and I'm not finding one, if you don't make X dollars or seed camp like a lot of us don't, and certainly as a first-time founder building a dating app, I wasn't everyone's favorite of the month. So being an entrepreneur, I decided to set up So me and 10 of the founders got together and put on a pitch event where we all invited our investors, and we tried to help each other to raise some funding. So 7 out of 10 of our founders got funding, and that was the beginning of the Entrepreneurs. So I think there are a few people there. If you could keep on mute till we for those guys arrive, and that'd be great. Next slide, Daniel. So just to talk you through the event this evening. So we will have 6 startups pitching to our panel of judges, and they will be taking questions. It will be 5 minutes to pitch, and I will be fairly strict with the startups, followed by 5 minutes of questions. What we will do is, if you have questions in the audience, please do pop them into the chat. And for the investors out there, if you're interested in any of the startups, as the startups are pitching, we will be posting their LinkedIn profiles in the chat as well. So please do follow those guys. If we see some questions that are really relevant, we may read them out during the pitching process. If not, we will do it at the end. We will ask some of your questions towards the end of the event. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our panel. And first, I would like to introduce you to Kaya Raghavan, aka Rags, serial investor, as seen on Lord Sugar's Apprentice in the final of the board table, lead investor in Seeders amongst many other companies. Kaya, if I could pass over to you to tell us a little bit about your background and also your outlook on investment.
Thank you so much. I've always been pretty gratuitous in your introduction about me, but this Alan Sugar thing was about 4 or 5 years ago when the plumber and the dating application were in the finals, and I was asked to be one of the judges at the horseshoe table. It was a very unique experience, and it's not something that I would recommend to other people. It's pretty boring otherwise. And it's all predetermined, and all of the recordings happen on the first day itself. And therefore, what you see, in fact, if you noticed it properly, you would see the guys wearing the the same dress that they came in with is a dress that they go out when they're sent out. So, in any case, yeah, it's pretty exaggerated in terms of its importance. That said, yeah, I've been in this business of angel investing for about a decade now, and Seeders itself was in late December, early January 2012, and I'm still waiting to exit. That's another story. But yeah, so I have about 40 investments nearly, and I've had 3 exits. One of them was a blowout exit. And I've passed on 3 or 4 exits, not taken them up yet because I'm waiting for that to grow. Very often the angels I see are very keen to exit. I mean, having de-risked in the early stages, it only makes sense for you to stay with the company a little longer and enjoy the ride along with the growth and leverage that, as opposed to just de-risk and let somebody else get the benefit out of that. As far as I'm concerned, in the investments, by the way, about 10 of them will have died by now, or the 40 investments. Yeah, what I look for in investments these days, having learned a lot in my ride, is to look for the team, basically. And the team is good. You know, much of the battle is won. Of course, then you look at idea, the product, and execution skills. So there is some empirical evidence available with respect to what the execution skills are as you enter. And I'm kind of sector agnostic. I have been in e-commerce, fintech, medtech, edtech, name it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the event today.
Great stuff, Kaya. Our pleasure to have you. And next, I'll hand over to Daniel Barrero, a professional fundraiser, worked with many startups. Over to you, Daniel. Please tell us a little bit more about your background and what you look for in a startup.
Thank you, Michael. Very well pronounced, my surname, Borrero. Well done. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name is Daniel, and basically I've been involved on angel networks for over a decade. Time goes by very, very quickly these days. Yeah, I have helped fundraise those startups, also spin-offs coming from universities. I moved to recently to Fuel Ventures. Fuel Ventures is an early and growth stage investor in SaaS business, marketplaces, platforms. It was formed 5 years ago, and yeah, we have now 40 portfolio companies, and we're looking mostly, to be brief, I agree with Rax, actually, for the team, people, founders that are ready, you know, to crack on the market, to learn, to make the most of it, but you know, to invest. We like to invest on them as well, but the business have to be, you know, highly scalable. Gross margins between, I don't know, 30 to 80% more or less. We invest, our tickets go from £500,000 up to £2 million, is between seed stage, more or less. And yeah, I think in a broad perspective, this is what we tend to do. We now have a couple of exits coming very soon, and I hope I can you know, I can know more about the companies today and see how we can help.
Yeah, great stuff, Daniel. Okay, our pleasure to have you. And last but certainly not least, we have Andrew Davidson, a regular judge, you know, and for all these great investors and judges that we have here, there always has to be one straight talking bad guy for the panel, and this is where we have Andrew to tell these startups what is what. So Andrew, please tell us a little bit more about your background and your outlook on startups.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, hi Andrew. We can see.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Well, what can I say after such an intro? I've been investing for about the last dozen or so years. After 25 years of investment banking, I've raised about 100 million for various companies in that time as well. So I'm both sides of the equation. You know, I'm really looking forward to tonight's pitches. I don't believe there's any point in sugarcoating anything, particularly at the start. You know, the whole point of this is for both sides to learn something and to take away something. Really looking forward to it. Looks like a great lineup. Well done, Michael. Off we go.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Andrew. So I'm glad to say that I'm super excited to have these three judges. And I'm excited to also say that we've now officially made this our biggest event of the year. So we're at 145 participants and rising, which is great stuff. So well done to the team. And now we'll move across to pitch time. So please do remember, if you like the startups, have a look in the chat. We will be posting their LinkedIn profiles, and we'll also post the profiles of all the judges. If you want to follow those guys, please do look in the chat and do drop any questions in. But to kick things off, and certainly let me have a look at who we have first. So, okay, pitching first, we have Ben from the Portfolio Collective. Okay. Hey, Ben, are you here?
I am here, and I'm about to
great.
You going to see that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, want to kick off, Michael?
There we go. Let me get the timer ready. Okay, I've got you. Highly sophisticated iPhone here. So there we go. 5 minutes. Go.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. My name is Ben Legg. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Portfolio Collective, which is the lifetime accelerator for portfolio professionals. So you know what an accelerator is for a startup. We do that for portfolio professionals, but for lifetime rather than for 3 months. Now, you might be wondering, what is a portfolio professional? Firstly, it's they have the portfolio approach to their own income. So they don't have one full-time job, they have multiple sources of income. And secondly, professional means these people earn meaningful multiples of the minimum wage. These are people with high skills. It's basically the top end of the gig economy. And this is a big addressable market. So the OECD, long before lockdown, forecast that by 2030, 50% of all adults would be portfolio workers of one form or another. Now, in very simplistic terms, we think of the professional world as the LinkedIn audience. Therefore, the total addressable market is something like half of that, which is 350 million people globally, or just for a sense, in the UK, that would be about 15 million people. And portfolio professionals need support. I won't go through all their questions, but I have met over 1,000 portfolio professionals since the beginning of lockdown, when I started a weekly workshop to help people. And it's not easy becoming a portfolio professional. They have dozens of questions, and we are out to help them. Now, we're doing that through a platform. Our platform really, at least at the moment, aims to do 3 things. One is help people connect with other portfolio professionals, find mentors, form teams, etc. The second is learn. We have weekly articles, typically a couple a week. We've got podcasts, we have live events, we've got various courses, and also to find opportunities, whether that's jobs, projects, teams, learning opportunities, etc. We're rolling out in 5 stages. Stage 1 is content, write those articles, make those podcasts, demonstrate subject matter expertise and bring in traffic. Second is live learning and events, in which people basically log in, create a profile, meet real human beings, learn something, connect in small groups and say, I've found my tribe. Third is digital community. So continuing in between all those live events to connect with others, form teams, ask questions, post articles, find mentors, etc. Then moving around to marketplaces for jobs, for software, for banks, etc. And then eventually moving on to workflow software, in which we help people become more productive and also form virtual teams, virtual companies, etc. A lot of really exciting ideas there. There's been loads of activity since July when we formed, and it's starting to generate results. So to date, we've had 12,000 unique visitors without any ad spend, all just based on content and referrals. 600 people have been through one of the many live events. We have about 2,000 repeat visitors spending about 30 minutes a week, which is about the same as LinkedIn. And we've got 300 active community members. This is like the hardcore users. And we've actually tested the idea of a premium membership of about £35 a month. So it's basically slightly less than LinkedIn. And overwhelmingly, they said, yes, they would pay that. We haven't kicked it in yet because we want to make sure we don't lose them by we need to have enough offers down the road. In terms of competition, we saw our competitors as really point solutions. So clearly there's loads of job boards. There's lots of training courses. There's software that helps people like this. There's banks, there's other things, but no one's saying, we've got your back and we'll help you make sense of that very complicated ecosystem, help you find the right jobs board, the right course, etc. So we are the home base, the place where people come, the safe space, they ask questions, they learn, they collaborate, they share. There's loads of ways to monetize this audience. The two we're focused on in early 2021 is number one, premium membership, and number two, monetizing jobs and project postings. And so that's where we're focusing. Our very conservative model suggests that in about 18 months from now, that would get us to around about £2 million of annual run rate. Clearly, it could be more if we either grow members more or find other ways to monetize. Got an amazing team, 4 co-founders plus 6 additional people. All have had great careers and also all have portfolio experience and love giving back. In terms of the ask, I've put in about £100,000 of my own money so far, just over. We're now looking for $500,000 to flesh out the tech stack and scale, in particular in the UK. If things go well, we'll be looking for something like a £2 million raise in mid to late 2021, in which we'll truly go global. That's it. I'd love to take your questions.
Okay, great stuff, Ben. And with 15 seconds to spare as well. So a great start. And a brilliant name, the Portfolio Collective. I like it. So let's kick off with Kaya. So do you have some questions for Ben? You may be on mute.
Yeah. Hi, Ben. Good afternoon. Good evening. Yeah, I was just wondering, I was fascinated by your numbers. You said 15 million people in the UK would be part of this collective.
Well, they will have, they're part of the total addressable market, so they will have at least a side hustle to their day job, if not a full-blown portfolio career. So
pretty much every family, I would have thought, assuming that a family has about 4 people.
Potentially, yes, yeah.
And if you take out the kids, and you're saying pretty much every couple will have some side job.
Yes, and absolutely. So in essence, half the population will have a side job, and we're aiming for the top end of that.
The one other question that I have is, you seem to be suggesting that you're going to address soup to nuts, the way you presented it, and for all professions. Is that something that you think is doable by even 2030?
So for all professions, yes. Soup to nuts, no. So we are not going to try and build all the software they need or all the training they need. We're not going to train designers to be better designers. We're more like the MBA for portfolio professionals. We'll teach them to build a one-person company, write their strategy, build their brand, build a website, pitch, deliver, organize their taxes, etc. So it's that kind of the core skills that are relevant to all professions, as opposed to helping them be better professionals in their profession.
Right. I would have asked you about the go-to-market strategy, but I want to leave it to others.
Okay. Thank you, Kaya. And over to you, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Ben. Great presentation. Thank you very much. I was listening to the competition, direct, indirect competition. Let me tell you how it's a very basic question, but it's like the punch question. How do you really differentiate yourself from your direct/indirect competitors? Just convince us, please. So
the main thing we do is we say we have the portfolio professional. Everything we do is for them. We're not a marketplace. We might build a marketplace if we see a gap somewhere at some stage, but every single thing we do is to make them more successful and be with them for the whole journey. So we don't just want to find them one job or give them one course or make some money from one transaction. We want to build a long-term relationship in which we get to know them, they get to know each other, And it's basically the backup team for the journey. If you think about it as a portfolio professional, there's no L&D department. You're on your own. So we're kind of the L&D department, the mentoring department, the sort of teamwork and collaboration department.
Right, and thank you. And then very quickly, the second one, a bit of economics of the business. In terms of revenue streams or costs, margins, what can you tell us in terms of growth, etc.? How can you?
Right now we're pre-revenue, so we basically will monetize with probably premium memberships first, followed by job boards. One of the nice things about this model is that at a certain point, your fixed costs don't need to grow anymore. So, unless we end up turning into the next LinkedIn, which I very much doubt, I don't see why we need to get to more than 35 to 50 people, even when we're global, because you don't need to keep creating more content yourselves. You give the audience the tools to publish themselves. The audience has the tools to run their own courses, run their own events. And so as long as you have the right platform, you don't need to scale the other functions particularly fast. So to me, this gets really, really exciting financially when you hit that point, probably around about 20 to 30,000 paying members or monetized members, in which costs pretty much flatline or grow very slowly when revenue can keep growing very fast.
Okay,
thank you. The other thing I'd say is, although we will...
I'm going to stop you there and hand you over to Andrew Davidson, so we get a last question in, but thanks. Andrew, over to you.
Hi, Ben. Interesting, this. How long do you think you've got, when you start charging, for people to manage people's expectations in terms of getting value for money? I mean, there are lots of platforms that do similar things to you, not exactly what you do, but I can see exactly what you're trying to do, and I think it's quite clever. But I can quite see that the demographic that you're trying to attract, there are a number of similar ones, and for their 50 quid a month, how long you reckon you're going to be able to keep them, and what do you have to do to be able to keep them?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So the key is we just need to add significantly more value than the fee. So some of the relatively straightforward ways of doing that, one is have live events where the value of those events is obvious. So for example, something in our roadmap is to run a how to win a non-executive director course. Those are not courses, like a half day or whatever workshop. Those things sell between 50 and 250 quid. That would be free as part of the membership. So there's a whole load of little things like that. The other thing is bundling software. So software like Superhuman, Zoom, Zero, there's a whole load of software that these people need. And if we can get them discounts worth, ideally more than the fee, that will also make it a no-brainer to do. So they're the two main ways. I'm sure we'll have some other ideas as well.
Okay, I mean, actually, I went on the IOD course, the NED course there, and actually, I think it was about 250 quid.
Yeah.
Have a look at TTI. I'm a member of TTI. Have you ever heard of TTI?
I haven't, I don't think.
It's a sort of ESG invitation only, whatever that means. It's $400 a year. Okay. And it's a sort of community of ESG centric investors, fundraisers, etc., etc. Go and try and have a look at that.
Yeah, we'll do.
Connect with me afterwards, and I'll introduce you.
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you for your questions, and we love to see that judges connecting with our presenters. Thank you very much, Ben. We're now going to hand over to Trukl and Robin. Do we have Robin here?
Yeah. Hi. Evening.
Hey, Robin.
Hi.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll get your timer ready. If you could get your presentation up.
Can you see that?
Not yet.
Can you see that?
Okay. Yes, perfect. Looking good. Right. I'm going to kick you off now.
Evening, guys. Hi, I'm Robin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Trukl. Trukl has built a parcel delivery platform for small businesses. Our platform helps SMEs deal with the large delivery companies, saving them time and money processing and printing their labels in bulk and managing their parcel deliveries. Today, hundreds of thousands of retailers find it difficult to work with parcel companies. They pay high prices for their deliveries. They spend many hours manually processing and tracking their orders and get poor service when things go wrong. Small businesses and traders are overlooked by the big parcel delivery companies, and this has got worse during COVID with the huge increase in parcels being shipped. Trukl's platform is a web-based portal where the retailers can order, print in bulk and track their shipping labels easily. We give them access to better prices, improved service and time-saving features. We make it simple and we look after our customers. Trukl has identified and developed a system for proactively managing our customers' orders that looks out for problems in real time. We inform our customers of issues before their customer calls them, saving them time, embarrassment and cancelled orders. We found this system directly saved us man hours, reduced costs and our cancellation rates in previous companies. But we found that no one else is offering these services to small businesses. The market size in the UK is growing quickly. Since the start of COVID, the sector has increased significantly with many new SMEs entering the market and other online businesses booming. But for SMEs dealing with delivery, the pain is getting greater. They have less attention from the big delivery companies and less time to deal with delivery problems themselves. In the UK right now, the parcel market is set to double in the next 5 years. And right now, there's 15,000 Shopify sellers alone, in addition to 300,000 eBay sellers and 400,000 Amazon resellers. We launched our platform in July 20 and so far shipped 2,500 consignments with a revenue of £18,000. We have a huge demand for our service and need further investment to develop our features and integrations and onboard these next customers. Over the last 3 months, we've communicated with hundreds of customers who want to use our service. They are already shipping parcels. They have common problems which we're able to solve with our platform. We currently make a margin on all the deliveries booked through us, offering the platform as a beta free trial to our customers. Our revenue model will evolve, and in 2021, we'll start charging a monthly subscription to our customers to use our platform. And later on in 2021, we plan to introduce a per label only fee to customers using our features such as the proactive tracking feature. As a team, we are an experienced e-commerce experts and understand the value of delivering customer excellence. We are a team of founders who have experience together of running fast-growing companies and scaling teams quickly. Our strengths complement each other and we work well together. Between us, we have a strong background in e-commerce, software, B2B and logistics. All those things put us in a great position to make Trukl a success. We are seeking £350,000 EIS qualified investment. We'll spend the money on engineers to build out the features and integrations, sales and service employees to maintain relationships and SLAs, and marketing to acquire more customers. We're looking to build and scale Trukl and exit the business within 4 to 5 years. And the most likely exit we see will come from an acquisition from a major player to acquire market share or extend their product offering. The market is really hot for us right now with home delivery volumes surging due to COVID and small businesses needing help with parcel deliveries more than ever. We were looking to raise investment to build out our features and integrations so that we can bring on more customers. We believe we have the right idea, the right team, and the timing is right now. The SME market is underserved, huge growing market with the opportunity to make a great return on investment. We love helping small businesses in the UK succeed with shipping, and we hope you'll join us on that journey. Thank you.
Okay, great stuff, Robin. And with 40 seconds to spare, so you made it through. Okay, well done.
I was wary of the timer.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so maybe if you could take your presentation down and then, yep. And let's reach over to Daniel. Why don't you kick us off with the questions this time? Maybe you're on mute, Daniel?
Daniel, you're on mute.
No, my apologies. Thanks for the presentation. I have to say that I've got 2 hearts here because at Fuel Ventures we see quite a lot of those businesses. And let me tell you, can you tell me a little bit more about your plan for growth, please, in terms of like monetization and growth?
Okay, so in which sense, acquiring customers or revenue?
Yes, exactly. Acquiring both, actually. Acquiring, how are you going to acquire customers and, for instance, that revenue?
Yeah, exactly. Well, this pitch we've obviously had to take down to 10 slides, and normally we'd have an acquisition one in there. But our acquisition model is through a lead generation strategy. So we're looking to acquire 600 of those simply through lead generation and sales techniques. Our marketing spend is 0. We plan to spend a very small amount on marketing. Monetization, we take a margin on the delivery, but we hope to start charging the per label fee later. That is highly profitable for us because we don't have to do the onboarding and the integration of the delivery company for that retailer.
Mm-hmm. And the last question, your target customer can be actually like professionals, or can it be like individuals, any kind of what? Because I think narrowing it will be important here. Or...
No. So our target customer is 2 to 10 person company turning over £500,000.
I'm not sure if it's me, but I can hear you very well.
Is the small customers need lots of hand holding and they're expensive.
Hi, Robin. Sorry, we're having a few difficulties hearing you. Is it possible you could put your video off for a second? It seems to be the sound is a bit distorted coming through, so I'm wondering if it's your bandwidth. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, how's that?
A bit better, yes.
Yeah.
Better, thank you.
Yeah, Daniel, I was just saying that, so we picked a sweet spot in the middle of customers that, don't get good prices, they don't want credit, and they don't have the technological advantage that we have.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Daniel. Over to you, Andrew.
Hi, Robin. Great pitch. Really, obviously, this space is just exploding under COVID with lots of home traders, etc., setting up. What's going to be your absolute target market, and who are going to be your preferred channel partners, and where are you in negotiation with them?
When you say channel partners,
the actual end-to-end delivery, the Hermes or whoever it might be of this world.
Okay, well, there's a natural selection at the moment due to COVID, and that's the companies that are already geared up to do the DTC stuff, the direct to delivery. So it's UPS and DPD. Your Hermes and your Yodels, they'll all start to struggle because their service isn't really matching what the market needs at the moment. So yeah, they're the ones that will come through. But every company has a different sort of profile. So ultimately, we want a blend. We're integrated with DPD and UPS at the moment, which gives us a good coverage. But later on, we'll need to do Royal Mail and DX and that sort of thing. Yeah, our customer base is 2 to 10 customers, £500,000. They're going to send 10 to 40 parcels a day. For that, we only need to onboard, 10 customers a month over the next 18 months, and our revenue really starts to increase quite rapidly.
Just give me an idea of how much you actually make per parcel with that sort of typical customer.
Yeah, so typically we get charged £5 and we charge them £6 typically. But actually, once we've got volume, we're doing 1,000 parcels. When we're doing 40,000 parcels, our price will go down to £4. So our margin will increase, but our cost won't be exponentially increasing.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
great stuff. Thank you, Andrew. Over to you, Kaya, if you have a question for us.
Hey, Robin, like Andrew said, there are lots of players in this, actually. So if anything, it comes to execution play. If you're able to deliver faster, if you're able to provide quality service, then there may be some margin there. But given that, and you're talking about the tracking being made available subsequently and that being a SaaS product from your side or SaaS service, yeah. I thought everybody provides that free of cost, number one. And number two, conceding for a moment that even you would charge it, your gross margins seem to be so low that it's not going to be greatly viable in terms of, also I've seen your net margin calculations. I suspect that it's not going to be anywhere near that if your gross margin is 25, 26%. So you've got to make it more viable. So is there any way that you could talk about unit economics, what exactly you're intending to do to improve that?
Yeah, we're intending to grow the business rapidly because the market's huge, and the proactive management tools that I'm talking about, nobody's offering that in the UK at the moment. So the SME can't just freely get tracking of their orders. There are definitely some tracking tools that they can go and apply, but nobody's doing the proactive monitoring it. They've got to go and find the information per order themselves. So for instance, if a business sends 40 orders every day. They'd have to go back and check every order individually, and they just haven't got time to do that. So we act as the guardian for that business and tell them when problems occur. That's our USP, and that's what other people aren't doing.
What about your SaaS gross margin?
Well, at the moment we're not charging a SaaS fee. We're on a
Projections show that, and you're talking about just raising $350,000, and I don't even know the valuation. That's not going to last for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it will last for 18 months. Because our business is going to be turning over £10,000 a month by February and £20,000 a month by April. So money's going to be coming into the business, and that's going to hold some profit.
You know, it's a lead execution. So anyway, thank you so much.
No, yeah, thanks for your time.
Okay, great stuff, and well done, Robin, on standing up to these great questions. So brilliant stuff and good presentation. Okay, so up next, let us check our execution. Yeah. So up next we have Leo. Leo, are you around?
Hi everybody, I am around.
There he is. Okay.
Let me show my
Leo
screen.
will be presenting Bug. So if we could put it on. And whilst we wait, just to say, we have now very much blown our previous attendance out of the water. I think we're approaching 160 attendees. Significantly 25-30% higher than our previous biggest event. So thank you all for attending. But now over to you, Leo. I'll start your time.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect.
Delicious insect meals at home.
Exactly. Hi everybody. Really great to be here. My name's Leo. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Better Universal Grub, otherwise known as Bug. We make it easy to cook delicious insect meals at home. But why insects? So 1/3 of the environmental crisis starts with the food system. As our demand for protein doubles in the next 30 years, it's critical we rethink our relationship with food and find better ways to feed ourselves. Amazingly, insects are one of the cleanest, greenest, most efficient, most sustainable protein sources in the world. They're also unbelievably good for you. Crickets, for example, are up to 70% protein. That's 3 times the amount in beef. They've also got more iron than spinach, more calcium than milk, more potassium than bananas, more B12 than red meat. The list goes on. So they really are a superfood, but they're also delicious. 80% of countries around the world eat insects in some form, not because they have to, but because they love it, because insects are tasty. So in many ways, we in the West are the weirdos. The question that we have is, how do we change perceptions around this otherwise sustainable, delicious, but undervalued superfood? And of course, answering this question starts with the early adopters. We've been speaking with them for the best part of a year, and they're telling us that they're not scared of eating insects. Actually, they want to cook and they want to experiment with them for themselves. This is currently really difficult to do. No one knows where to buy them. They're really expensive. No one knows how to cook with them, but the stuff on the market are all snacks. Snacks don't fundamentally solve the problem for early adopters because snacks don't get meat off dinner tables. Early adopters are wanting to cook with insects and not eat snacks. This is why we created the Bug Kit. 3 delicious cooking kits designed to be flexible around popular everyday meals. So we've got a sticky ginger, sesame and teriyaki cricket, perfect for really any stir fry. A crunchy cricket with Italian herbs, garlic and black pepper, great in any pasta or salad. And a powdered version, a buffalo falafel mix with parsley and harissa, great in again any salad, pita or wrap. These kits are designed to make cooking insects easy, fun and accessible. So we sell these kits through our website, direct to consumer, through a subscription and individual sales, starting from £5 a kit. We've got a 37% starting margin for the subscriptions and 49% starting margin for the individual sales, increasing to over 50% and 60% in year 2. We're also building a bank of really high quality insect recipes on our website that are designed to inspire your palate and look and taste delicious. We want to be the world's best insect recipe website and really be the authority on cooking with insects. So in April this year, we launched our MVP, which was an insect recipe box we called the Bug Box. Since then, we've been speaking to customers. We've been really trying to answer the question, what will get people cooking insects on a regular basis? And on the back of all this learning, developed the new bug kits that you've just seen. Now we're looking to raise a £200,000 seed round to really level up our marketing, to outsource the manufacturing and fulfillment of these kits. With zero marketing budget, we've had a ton of press. We've had interest from the likes of Trukl, who's made a series of videos posting our insect recipes on her Instagram, which we're really excited about. We've also been featured on The Grocer, The New Scientist, and recently on Swedish national television. So how big is the market? We're actually going into a huge £10 billion TAM across Europe, but initially focusing on a £95 million beachhead market in the UK, really targeting young professional flexitarians between the ages of 20 to 40 years old. We're looking to break even in year 2 with sales of 1.4 million, increasing to 4.5 million in year 3, with a net profit of 850,000. And we're looking to capture about 5% of the beachhead market. So our team consists of a designer, an insect scientist, and a chef. My background's in design. I've designed for a number of sustainability and health-focused food brands, selling thousands of meals into the top UK supermarkets. My co-founder, Aaron, is an entomologist at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. He knows more about insects than anybody I know. And our chef, Will, is sort of a rock star in the food development space, former head development chef at Co-op Supermarket, designing their range of ready meals, currently head development chef at Wagamama and Pizza Express. We also have Alvaro on the team, who helps us with questions around operations and finance. So we're looking to raise a £200,000 seed round, EIS and SEIS eligible, and really looking to speak to investors and advisors in the food and beverage space. Thank you very much. I look forward to your questions.
Great stuff. And with 10 seconds to spare, well done, Leo. Just a quick question from me before we head over to the guys. Which is your favorite insect?
I love the cricket.
Okay.
It's probably the most versatile, and it's really flavorful.
Okay.
I'm personally not I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm not as much of a fan of the powder. I mean, it's more of a supplement.
You want to feel that crunch, don't you, when you eat that cricket? Yeah, I can see it.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Over to you. Who do we kick last time? Let's go over to you, Andrew, to kick us off with the questions.
Hi, Leo. Great pitch. Hello again. I've actually been using a bug box recently. Actually, I thought it was great.
Awesome.
Locusts in chocolate are my favorite. Absolutely amazing. I thoroughly recommend them.
Good on you for giving it a go. It's pretty scary.
Yeah. No. I grew up in the Far East, so I'm probably more adventurous than most. But I totally get it in terms of the ecological, environmental, everything else. Couple of questions. Is there any regulation? Where do you source them? Obviously, they're probably from the Far East. And are there any problems with scale? If you once you really start to get momentum, is it going to be easy to get the sort of volumes? We're big users in our household, particularly during lockdown, of HelloFresh. We take 3 days a week, 3 evenings a week. It's fantastic. Have you approached them? Because they would be a fantastic partner for you. And a lot of early adopters, a lot of new chefs, etc., etc. Anyway, enough questions from me.
Yeah, so we source our insects from a couple of farms in the UK, one in Cambridgeshire, one in Oxfordshire, and another sort of huge farm in the Netherlands. On the scale point, these are actually quite huge facilities. So originally they're supplying insects as reptile and animal feed. So these are huge 60-acre to 100-acre facilities. They have the capacity to scale up. Their facility is built for human consumption, so absolutely have the capacity to do that. The bottleneck is really around the customer-facing side, which is where we feel we add value. No one's made insects look appealing and delicious and put a product out there that makes people want to eat some. So that's really where we feel we're adding value to that chain. And HelloFresh, It's a really good question. We've actually spoken to not HelloFresh, but we've spoken to Gusto. They actually considered putting insects in some of their meals. The problem is it's a huge risk for these companies, and they don't want the risk to manage all of this at this point. I think until there is proof that people do want this, you know, that they might go for it. So really that's sort of the end goal, you know, to get it into either supply it through other recipe box companies or supply it B2B into restaurants. You know, these guys are a lot more risk averse.
Pardon my ignorance, and I apologize to everybody on this, but can vegans, do they contemplate eating bugs, or is that, you know, perceived as an animal? But again, pardon my ignorance.
It's really controversial for vegans. I think because and vegetarians as well, because they've already crossed the line to commit to not eating meat. They're not, I mean, they look at us, you know, and ask, why would you possibly want to kill a few billion crickets? But we're really targeting, you know, meat eaters and flexitarians. So most of our customers have been flexitarians.
Just so that we can get across to the answers, but
No
thank
worries.
you very much, and thank you, Andrew.
No
Over to you, Kaya. Do you have a question for Leo?
Hey, Leo, excellent presentation and a good try with a vegetarian of 68 years. Okay.
Not convinced.
Come again?
Not convinced.
Right. It'll take a little while. Yeah, you talked about the perception. You know, one thing I've learned, and I would attribute this to Sequoia, is timing. You think this is the best time for you to go around selling something on insects?
Absolutely is the best time. I mean, there's two parts to this. Obviously, you know, people's awareness of the environmental impact of their food, you know, is skyrocketing. The number of you know, vegans have quadrupled in the last number of years. The number of flexitarians is now sort of 1/3 of the general UK population. So people are wanting to eat more sustainably, are wanting to eat more healthily, but also from an industry standpoint, you know, just anecdotally, we've just noticed how people are aware of edible insects, where this wasn't the case, you know, just even a few years ago. So people are aware that this is an option, and actually we're finding people are looking for ways to incorporate it into their diet. So we really think this is the moment.
So I'm not talking the environment so much as the environment in the strictest sense. I'm talking in the COVID days, you're saying your serviceable market is 6.7 million just in UK. That's 1 out of 10 people. Do you really think so? Are prepared to eat insects?
Yeah, so I mean, what we've done there is segment down, really gone through a process of segmentation. So figuring out, you know, how many flexitarians are there, which is sort of the core target market, and filtering it down, you know, people who cook at home, people who, you know, eat sustainably, people within, you know, our age bracket, and who are open to eating insects, which in the flexitarian population is about 40%, according to a number of studies. So they're 4.5 times more likely to eat insects than the general population. So, you know, and that number of people is growing. You know, people are becoming more aware than they ever have been.
Okay, great stuff, and thanks, Kaya. Daniel from EC, can we get a quick poll up to ask the guys who'd be willing to eat insects? Are you okay with that, Leo? With you
absolutely, yeah.
Let's
sure,
see,
1 second.
Let's see what percentage will be up for eating it. Great stuff. Over to you, Daniel.
Thanks very much. Hi, Leo. I think we've met before, and I've been following your company. And great presentation. Your company, you know, it's neat presentation and clear direction. My more than a question is a concern that I'd like you to please bring some positives over here. It's about the need, the moment, the time. I've been speaking to some investors about your company, and they told me about another one, for example, is called Snog. I shouldn't say that. It was frozen yogurt. And I remember they presented 10 years ago when I was here in London. I just arrived. And the investor said, well, you know, who has frozen yogurt in the UK? I mean, this is not the climate. This is not the time. They are, you know, like, you shouldn't be here. Well, look, they still exist after 10 years. So try to tell me, you know, how are you going to attract the market, and how are you going to target them and to send the message that this is the way? Because I guess this is this matter of like this click. I hope you understand my question with that.
Yeah, so how are we going to reach out to people? How are we going to convince them that insects is something they should be doing, they should be eating? This is the core of what we're trying to do. So what I touched on is that we feel the industry is thinking really mainstream quite quickly, and really what we need to do as an industry is actually build the foundation of people who are going to repeat purchase, who are going to love eating insects. So we've really studied them, and we found that these guys are out there, these early adopters out there, and they want to cook and they want to experiment with insects.
Great stuff, Leo. And fingers crossed.
That's the surface there, Daniel.
Yeah, we've got the results of our poll are in. So what percentage of people do you think said they would eat insects on a regular basis? What would you hope for? There we go.
What would I hope for?
36% of our audience. So that's got to be good news. 36% of our audience would eat insects on a regular basis. So there you go. Thanks, guys, for voting. Okay.
Guys.
Thank you.
Great stuff, Leo. Okay, some great questions there from our judges. Just bear with me a second. We'll get up on next company. Bear with me. So next up we have Vicky, who is pitching Victoria the app. Vicky, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Splendid. Okay, if you could share your screen, brilliant. Okay, so we're going to kick you off. 5 minutes starting from now. Go for it, Vicky.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vicky Cheng. I'm the founder and CEO of Victoria. I'm originally from Hong Kong, and I moved to London 10 years ago. After graduating from my master's, I felt an extreme lack of community, and I found it really difficult to meet new people who I can found genuine connections with. And I noticed that many of my young professional friends also face similar problems. And to solve this problem, I founded Victoria. Currently, dating apps and private members clubs are attempting to solve this problem. However, studies have shown that users who use dating apps compulsively actually felt lonelier than they started in the first place. And private members clubs also focus a lot on consumerism, and they connect people to some extent. However, it's hard to find lasting or substantial relationships by being a member of a members club. Victoria is a digital private members club, which creates a community through hosting exclusive events in culture, including art, fashion, music, and film. Our platform offers 3 separate ways to connect: date, network, and community. We have an innovative AI engine which matches users based on common interests, facilitating genuine connections. Victoria has over 15,000 downloads, and we currently have 720 foreign members. We also have about 5,700 people on our waiting list. Additionally, our 14-day retention rate is about 80%, and on average, every active member views 55 profiles per week. I have a very strong team. I have a CMO and CTO. They all have over 12 years of experience. And I have a strategy manager, a machine learning specialist, head of membership. And we are backed by a best-in-class tech team, which includes 2 iOS developers and a full stack developer. Additionally, I have a very strong advisory team, and we have a machine learning specialist who is currently working at Instagram. And we also have ex-head of growth marketing at Bumble, who is going to join us on the advisory board next month. Our user acquisition strategy is threefold. First, we host 4 exclusive monthly events on unique cultural and creative topics. Secondly, we utilize celebrities and influencers to drive press. Third, we work with luxury brands such as Mahiki, Home House, Blacks, Members Club to co-host events. An example of our celebrity engagement is our recent work with Lottie Moss, who is the half-sister of Kate Moss. She hosted our launch event, which resulted in press by the Daily Mail, Metro, People, and MSN. Our monetization strategy is to charge our members $100 a month, which is about £75, to be a part of the community, as well as offer add-ons for additional services. On top of that, we have a number of other strategies under consideration for further revenue, such as partnerships with premium luxury retailers, gyms, and members clubs. Victoria will generate significant revenue due to the scale of the market, which is 1 trillion global luxury market. The experiential luxury subsegment, which Victoria operates in, is outperforming the overall market by growing at 5% per year. Victoria is a scalable digital model which can rapidly grow, expanding into 5 different regions by 2023, by which point it would generate over 100 million in revenue. So Victoria so far has been entirely self-funded. I've personally invested 1.4 million into the company. About 800K has been spent on tech development, and we're now raising 700K to take the business into the next stage of growth. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Vicky. Okay, so why don't we kick off with, I think we kicked off with Andrew last time. So over to you, Kaya. Do you have a question for Vicky?
Hi, so what's your revenue now? And do you charge both male and female in dating?
So currently we are still pre-revenue. So we have recently introduced subscriptions onto the app, which is right now actually live on the App Store. So subscriptions are only recently introduced about a few weeks ago. And we charge both men and women the same amount. So currently we have founding members who can use the app, some basic features of the app for free for 6 months. And at the end of 6 months, they can upgrade. They have to upgrade to the Victoria membership. And also if any of the founding member wants to use advanced features, such as people who like to, they need to also upgrade to the subscription. And yeah, we also have the add-ons that all the members can pay right now. And yeah, we've seen some revenue coming in from that side.
What's your CAC and what's your expected margin, let's say next year?
Yes, so our CAC, our historical CAC right now is at £27. So we actually work with promoters who bring in high quality members who we pay about £20 per member. And we also host the 4 monthly events, which is sort of costs us about £1,000 per event. And you said, what's your second question? You said CAC and the revenue? Yeah,
no, what's your CAC and what's the margin that you expect?
Yes, so we expect our members to sort of generate a lifetime value between $225 and $1,590. So yeah, so we basically look at different scenarios between having a membership between 3 months to 1 year, 1 year and a half subscription.
That's an extraordinary ratio if you can get it. Yes, and anyway, what's your valuation now, your pre-revenue?
Yes, so I believe my valuation currently is around 5 million.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Kaya. Over to you, Daniel.
Yeah, hello, hi, Vicky. Thanks for the presentation. Can I ask you how many members would you say that you need in order to become break even?
Yes, so I would say we would need about breaking even. Let me have a think. I actually think even if we just have about 1,000 members, that would already cover our costs per month to operate. So So I think it would probably take just a few years to cover all the investments.
Yeah, and very quickly, thank you. And you told me a bit more about those $100 that you mentioned about membership. What does it cover? Those $100 per month?
Yes. So actually, it's similar to other members clubs. You have to pay a membership fee per month.
Right.
So right now we are getting founding members. So these members they are sort of trying the app as trial users, so they can use the app for free for 6 months. However, once the app is more established, every user is expected to pay £75 per month. And also for the £75, you actually have about 30-40 pounds worth of add-ons. So you have complimentary Connect Plus, Highlight Plus. So it means you have more matches, you get seen more by other people. And apart from that, you will be able to see who's liked you instantly, and you can then connect with them and have one-on-one chats.
I get that.
You can also have access to our weekly virtual events on the app.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Daniel. Over to you, Andrew.
Hi, Vicky. Interesting space. Obviously, a huge amount of choice and competition. First question, are you trying to get someone a date or a social life? And how differentiated do you think that offer is?
Sorry, what's your second question?
I'm just trying to say, is your main focus trying to get someone a date or create an illusion of a social life? And how much do you think people are prepared to pay for that? Obviously, there's lots of money in London, but having spoken to Michael, I think to get interest from being taken out in 3 years' time by one of the big boys, you've got to get to subscriber levels of about 100,000. How are you going to get there?
Yes, so I would say we are not a dating app. We are a private community and we are a private members club, but that's completely digital. So we have a lot of values that we want our members to share, and we expect our members to bring value to the community. So, and however, our members can use our community to date, to network, and to find friends. So, so it's a new concept that will solve the dating problem, but it's not a dating app. And how do I expect people to pay for this? So we've done research on our competitors, members of Soho House, and Annabelle's, Lulu's. On average, they pay $200 per month. And also, when you look at the paying users for Bumble, which has 100 million users, and they charge £30 per month, and about 10% of those users pay for the premium £30 a month. So comparing to that, we only need about sort of like 0.1% of Bumble users who pay £75 a month for us to get to 100,000 users globally, making us a unicorn. So I think it's quite realistic when you look at the existing players and the competitors.
You should talk to Ben at Portfolio Collective. I think you'd make an amazing combination.
Yeah, great idea. Synergies between the companies, between the pitchers. Okay, the Victoria Collective, maybe. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Okay, great stuff. Thanks, Vicky, and thanks for some great questions. Okay, who do we have up next? Just bear with me. Sorry, my phone keeps on timing out when we're talking. Entrepreneurs Collective. So the next pitch is Adadot and Alex. Do we have Alex here? Oh, there we go. Someone's sharing a screen. I'm presuming that's you, Alex.
That's me indeed. I was just on mute.
Okay, perfect. Big
visual problem, but I'm here. Hi, everybody. Let me just present real quick.
Okay, yeah, let's get you on full screen. Perfect.
Brilliant.
Okay, I'm going to set your timer going. Okay, go for it, Alex.
I'm Alex Harris. I'm the founder of Adadot.com, and we are a software as a service helping professional services firms monetize skills and time. Professional services firms differ to typical firms because what they're selling at the end of the day to their end clients is actually skills. One of the interesting things about them is essentially that their biggest expense on their bottom line is salaries. And they often find themselves in this interesting situation whereby you have two employees, they have about the same salary, but actually how much you're able to monetize them differs massively in the same case as we have here, Jenny and Richard. And the reason for that is because the current systems that they use typically cover the relationship between time and salary, but they're really bad at covering the skill side, which is what they're selling at the end of the day. So if you're not able to identify what skills are mostly in demand and what skills are available, then at the end of the day, you're not monetizing your staff properly. So what we do is connect all of the dots together and have a solution which is cloud-based, lightweight, which means that it can be used remotely as well. And it combines a deep skills taxonomy with a really intuitive capacity capture system. And it all comes together in the data-driven skills marketplace. So let's go back and peel back the layers of the three key components that I just mentioned. First and foremost, we have a system that allows us to capture capacity and understand how everybody's working, when they're busy, when they're free. And it's different to current system because we're using a data triangulation way to actually capture the data, and we're minimizing manual capture quite a lot. We, in fact, can say that you should be never more than 2 clicks away from declaring your capacity correctly. Secondly, we have a deep skills taxonomy, which means we can skills map every organization that we enter. And with that in mind, we actually have a really rich analytics system off the back of it that actually matches the skills to time and combines that ecosystem of both skills, time, and revenue, which is what professional services firms need to know. And finally, all of that leads to the monetization engine. So because we have all of the data that I just described, we can actually monetize people either within their own organization and kind of allocate them to different projects, or externally. So what we end up creating is a virtual, essentially, firm that can be accessed by in-house teams that typically wouldn't have had access to these employees, and create that agile, remote kind of working environment. The reason why we've been working on this project is because we've experienced the problem firsthand. In fact, I've worked in those firms that we're servicing for 10 years. So I've had to deal with that issue for over a decade now. And to be honest with you, I got sick of dealing with the problem, so I decided to fix it. And I'm paired with Jason, who is the person who has built the custom loading system that allowed Ocado to scale to double its size during COVID. So a really, really top engineer. And we have a really good team of advisors as well. So Jane here, ex-CEO Microsoft, ex-director of sales for Google. Richard, who is essentially our product advisor and has developed the M platform for Group M, which is one of our target clients. And finally, Farid, who is an active mentor and founder for Techstars. The size of the market is, as you can see, top down. So I'm going to respond ahead of time to some of the criticism. But essentially, it's at around $500 million globally for performance management software for professional services firms. And the way we're attacking the market is we're going at it vertical by vertical. So we're starting at the marketing vertical because that's where we have unfair advantage in the market. And we have, let's say, a council of 30 odd clients that we have been developing this solution with. We started with a clickable prototype about a couple of months ago that we took to market and got feedback on. And so far, we've raised investment by prominent angels like Charles Sonhurst, but also we are negotiating a 6-figure contract with one of those clients pre-product. Which brings me to my next point, which is our timeline. So at the moment we're fundraising and we are developing the MVP for release in Q1. And then after that, we're aiming to expand into multiple territories and more verticals from Q3 2023, essentially. We're ACIS accredited, and they ask the amount that we're raising for is 150K. And this is to help us take our product to market faster, but also to give us a runway of 12 months. Fine. And this is us. Hopefully I didn't run over time.
No, still with a little bit time to spare, Alex. Great
Perfect.
stuff.
More time for questions.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I think is it you to kick off this time, Kaya? Well, we're going to start with you anyway.
Alrighty. Hi, could you expand on how it actually works vis-a-vis, for example, one media agency? Take a case.
Yeah, I can take you through the case of the client we're speaking to, and we're negotiating the contract I mentioned. So they're essentially a group that have multi-country footprint. So they're based in the UK, in the US, they're based also in China, and they recently acquired a bunch of companies that they need to come together as one offering. And some of them have similar skill set, overlapping skill sets, and some of them have what we say complementary skill sets. So as you can imagine, where you have overlapping skill sets, you can share employees in between you. And in the case where you have complementary, you can very easily combine multidisciplinary teams, whereby they all come together to service the same client flexibly across territories.
Anyway, I'm going to defer to others in order for me to understand the concept clearly.
Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. Over to you, Daniel.
I think, thank you, Michael. Hi, Alex. Thanks for the presentation. Very interesting. It was in relation to the previous one. Can I know a bit more what needs to happen in order for you guys to be break even? Contracts, more like one-to-one customer base? Tell me a bit more about that, please.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So essentially, there's a couple of parameters that I need to give a bit more detail on. One is our pricing model. And essentially the overheads that come with it. An enterprise client is going to have very different overheads and very different support levels than potentially a smaller base, let's say self-serve part of the product. And we have 3 different tiers. So going back to your question, the composition of the client base will essentially define partly that break-even point. So if we go by our best guess at the moment, because it's going to be a guess,
yes.
So we would look to onboard about 5,000 users, which is, to be honest, it could be something like 10 clients, it could be something like 2 clients or 1 client.
Understood. And it may be wrong, but I think that PR and marketing will be here a big driver. How are you going to get into this? Like via the first client, it will be like the introduction letter to others, or how are you planning to go to market?
Yeah, again, so it goes back to those different pricing models, because each one of them is going to have a different kind of driving mechanism behind it. So for some of the smaller teams, it could be self-serve, at which point marketing is what comes into play. But for some of the bigger tiers, like enterprise, it's going to have to be inside and field sales. This is what we've been doing so far. And when it comes to the marketing vertical, because of our connections and our advisors' connections, a lot of it is done right that way. And a lot of the first year is going to go, I think, through referrals.
And the very last, maybe suggestion, have you thought about serving this for free to some kind of medium name where they can, give you some kind of PR there?
Yeah, no, of course. And it helps to have worked for the same organizations for quite a while, because it's an easy conversation to have, to be honest, so for sure.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Daniel, for some brilliant suggestions. Over to you, Andrew.
Hi, Alex. Great presentation. I think this is really interesting. I think that over the coming months, there's going to be a lot of acquisitions, a lot of companies, joining together, both willingly and unwillingly. So I think there's going to be a huge amount of demand for this. But also, this can be equally applied for people remote working, I would have thought. There's a huge opportunity there, and there's a huge amount of work being done by an awful lot of people to find out how they can monitor and manage people who are working remotely. Have you looked into that?
Yeah, we have. I mean, the thing with something as big as that is you have to focus, and you have to focus to your strengths. And professional services is something that we really understand in a lot of detail, because we would have been the clients of this. So I'm trying not to be everything for everybody, but be something for the people who would really love something like that.
And what are the industries you're going to be? What are the sort of top 5 industries you're going to be focusing on?
Yeah, so our sweet spot is actually where you have long-term retainers, because that's where you have that mismatch between people to skills, between profitability. That's where that happens. So anything where you have professional services firm, long retainer, that's where we come in. So that could be law, insurance. We're finding people are willing to actually test it. Obviously marketing, as I mentioned, it could be consulting as well. It's these two things, professional services and long-term retainers.
Great, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, great stuff. Some great answers to those questions, Alec. So, okay, that was our last pitch of the event. So thank you.
We have one more, Michael.
Oh, sorry, do we have one more?
SearchSmartly.
Oh, yes, sorry, that's very true. So normally we have 5 pitches, but we have 6 this week, so this month. So, okay, so next we have SearchSmartly and Taha.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Okay, apologies, Taha. You know, I completely forgot about you there, but there we go. Got to you in the end.
No worries, Mike. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you splendidly. I'm going to start off
Perfect.
your timer. Ready to go now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Taha, and I'm the founder and CEO of SearchSmartly, where we are harnessing AI to transform property search. Property search is a painful experience. Choosing a home is a very personal decision. Yet existing solutions take a deeply impersonal, one-size-fits-all approach. It's time-consuming. The average person spends over 100 hours of time in the research and viewing process. Today's search process requires you to know exactly where you want to live, but more than 60% of people don't have a location pinned down. And as a result, the process is stressful. According to Eon, finding and moving into a home is more stressful than divorce. This problem is getting worse because consumer needs are changing, and COVID-19 is accelerating this even further. 10 years ago, consumers cared primarily about the physical entity of the house itself, how much space it had, whether it had a garage, and so on and so forth, which led to very narrow, location-centric search. Today, consumers care much more about the lifestyle that a home enables, commutability, health aspects such as access to green space and air quality, and the local neighborhood, such as access to good local schools and lively cafes and so on. These are fundamentally different needs to solve for, and the housing decision has become a lifestyle-centric decision. Yet with no platforms addressing this shift, finding the right place for our deeply personal needs is going to get harder. The solution to all of these problems is a new hyper-personalized way to truly match people to the places that they would love to call home. This solution is SearchSmartly. We unlock immense value for both sides of the market. By cleverly matching people to the best homes for their unique, hyper-personal, lifestyle-centric needs, we help people discover the best locations and properties for their unique needs, saving them over 60 hours of time and loads of stress in their search. And in doing so, we also create unique value for the supply side of the market, where we deliver highly qualified and motivated leads that agents love, increasing their conversion rates by up to 5x. This means that agents save dozens of hours per transaction, wasting less time qualifying leads and conducting fewer viewings, unlocking capacity to win more landlord instructions. This is obviously a huge market. Transforming and fundamentally solving property search is a massive opportunity. With Europe's high mobility culture, our addressable market presents a £30 billion opportunity. Within the UK alone, we see a £6 billion opportunity that is due to grow by 33% over the next 5 years, according to EY, driven by a secular shift towards the private rental sector. And finally, within our current pilot market of London, focusing just on location flexible consumers, our serviceable and addressable market is worth well over £1 billion per annum. We've spent the last 12 months validating our business model, which has 2 commission-led components. For estate agents, we operate a 20% split commission on their transactional income, which means we earn an average revenue per deal of about £450. And for the institutional landlords in the build-to-rent space, we charge up to 5% of annual contract value, translating to over £1,100 per deal. And we've already validated a path to a 3-to-1 ratio between the value of a deal and the cost of acquiring it, with significant upside potential. Having gone live just over a year ago, we have seen significant traction in market validation. We've been featured in the FT, the Times, Sifted, Mail Online, and Trade Press. The viewing requests we get every month represent £4 million in rental demand, growing at over 20% per month. Since launch, we've transacted over £2.5 billion in rent for our agency clients who list over 60,000 properties on our platform. These clients include some of the most renowned estate agencies in the UK. And we've now switched on our revenue generation model with these clients and have started generating early income, currently at about 4 to 5K per month and totaling under just under 30K year to date. And our users love us. We're rated excellent on Trustpilot. The market today exists in two extremes. On the one hand, we have traditional portals which take an unintelligent, unpersonalized, one-size-fits-all approach to search. On the other hand, we have relocation agents and startups like Homey who provide a personalized search experience through a clunky, expensive, and hard to scale experience. SearchSmartly combines the best of two extremes to define a new category of digital relocation that's free for consumers. We have strength and depth in our team, and we have built and scaled highly successful AI products before. Prior to founding SearchSmartly, I built championship-winning AI technology for the Red Bull Racing Formula One team. And our COO, Hess Van Goor, was CPO and acting COO at Eigen Technologies, scaling them from zero to over £1 million per annum in revenue. And we're supported by a great team who built successful products, worked in marketing, and know the estate agency world inside out through previous experience at KFH. To capitalize on this opportunity, we are raising 750K and a valuation of £4 million pre-money. Funds will be allocated towards continuing investing in technology, building up our brand and marketing channels, and automating operations to increase revenues while lowering costs to sell.
Okay, your time is
totaling 550K from new and existing investors, including funds IFG.VC and Oryx, as well as prominent angels, including Matt Cooper, James Hind, and Sufyan Ismail, who was our pre-seed lead investor.
Okay. We'll stop you there, Taha, a little bit over, but over to you, Daniel. Do you have a question for Taha?
Yes, thank you, Michael. Hi, Taha. Thank you very much for the presentation. Exciting. Sounds good. It's a big market over there. Can you know a little bit more about, like the first company, about the economics of your business? What are your costs margins here as you grow?
Sorry, guys, I'm struggling to hear you. Did anyone else catch that?
Let me repeat that again. Can you hear me?
So yeah, so the sound was fine from my end,
Okay.
but yes. So please go ahead, Daniel, and repeat it. So
yeah, coming back to economics on the business, can you tell me a bit more about your revenue streams? What I mean is about costs or your costs and margins. And lastly, the second question, I'm going to go rapidly there. I have the feeling that maybe you're narrowing your customers will be interesting here, because I'm not sure if you're referring your target customer will be these big portals, or will be like, you know, individual people looking for rents.
Yeah, so we target individual consumers themselves. Our target audience and our early adopters at this point in time have been young professional movers, international relocators, university students, and first-time buyers. So these consumers tend to have the problem taken to the extreme, where they just really don't know where they want to live, or they're very flexible on where they need to live, and they need help figuring out what that right location is. So they spend a lot of time at that research process. And in terms of the unit economics, acquiring a renter or a buyer who will make the transaction like this right now has costed us about 120 to 150 pounds per deal. And the revenue we are making on transactions at the moment is about 450 pounds, but with significant upside because we're shifting our focus towards the build to rent space, where the willingness to pay is much higher as well.
So your margin is moving between how much more or less your margin at this point?
The margin is about sort of 65% or so, but there's an opportunity to move it to 75% plus.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, great stuff, Daniel. Over to you, Andrew.
Hi, I think this is great. I mean, you know, everyone's crying out for the next evolution of Rightmove. I mean, I remember when it was IPO'd and it was sort of transforming then, but I mean, things have really moved on. And believe me, I understand how frustrating it is for people to look for properties. My only concern is if you become too successful, the big boys with the brand and with the power with the estate agents are just going to completely copy what you do, basically. And because they've got the existing footprint, the existing relationship, and the stranglehold with the estate agents, which they hate, I'm just a little bit concerned with your barriers to entry. because everyone's looking for the new Zoopla or whatever it is. Everyone's looking for the new model, and this could just be it.
Yeah, it's a great question, and obviously one that we think about a lot. And what fundamentally differentiates us and creates barriers are two things. One is our actual model. So if you look at Zoopla and Rightmove, they focus on the quantity of leads that they generate, because that's how they make money. It's on the quantity, not the quality. They have no incentive to generate better leads. And our product really focuses on the quality, even if it means fewer leads for those agents. And that really goes against the core KPIs and the underlying business model that the big portals have. So they would need to introduce more friction into their own search experiences to copy our product, but they wouldn't really make any revenue on the back of that. So that's why they really haven't innovated on the product side in the first place. So it would really require a very introspective shift on their side to move away from their public KPIs to copy our product and generate the value for the end user. And then on the technical side, we've spent a lot of time really understanding the nuance in what consumers care about and what that really means. So for example, when someone says, I want to be in the catchment area of a good school, that can cover a very broad location. Whereas when someone says, I want to be close to a gym because I like to work out 3 times a week, if that gym isn't within 5 minutes walking distance to the home, the consumer is going to just disregard that as being a fit on that particular level. So that takes time to build up that deep understanding of what people mean when they say certain things. And we think we've got a good head start there, and it will take time to build even just a copy of the product itself.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Taha. Over to you, Kaya. Oh, you might be on mute, Kaya.
Yeah, good presentation, Taha. You said the rent that you placed so far is 2.5 million and the revenues that you've collected is 28,000. So that works to about 1%, right? Mm-hmm. Why is that so?
Yeah, so our model where we take a 20% split of the agent's revenue will typically come out about 2% of annualized contract value. The reason why it's 1% in terms of actual revenue rather than 2% is because we had initial sort of free partnerships with our early adopters, and we only turned on revenue earlier this year. So that's why.
What's your AI doing that you're saying is your unique selling proposition?
So what we
talked about the gym and something like that, but I think most of the portals today offer those things anyway. But how forensically are you examining the data for you to be able to present anything marginally superior?
Yeah, so what we do is we actually flip the property search process upside down. So when you come on our platform, you don't say, I want to live in this specific postcode. You tell us what really matters to you, whether it's being close to a good school or parks or gyms and so on and so forth. And then our algorithms will then try and find that best match between what you're looking for and all that universe of property that exists out there. That's layer one of the, let's say, the data algorithms. But the second part comes in where that's where the AI really comes in, is where we try to learn from your behavior. So if you're spending, let's say, a lot of time browsing through properties that are, let's say, new builds with wooden floors, that tells us something about your interests. And why shouldn't our platform learn from that so that we can then start delivering more and more tailored recommendations as you spend more time on the platform? And that's really where, agents will add value in a conversation today. You will say, oh, I don't like that property because of X, Y, and Z reason. Do you have more like this other property? Well, the online experience doesn't learn from people's behaviors today, but that's really where we want to create a lot of value and really build a consumer-centric search experience.
So how do you get those data points? You expect people to fill in one heck of a lot of data when they list on your site?
No, so we've automated that completely. So we pull in data from lots and lots of different sources, public and private. We became the first property platform in the world to list air quality data through a unique partnership with King's College, amongst many others. And so we get all that data automatically. Whenever an agent adds a property on the platform, all the additional information that we want to add comes automatically. So the agent does nothing.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Taha, and thank you for our judges for some great questions. So that is actually Are you sure, Daniel? This is the last pitch. There's not another one you're going to surprise me with? No?
This time,
okay,
yes.
no, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Okay. So that's the last pitch of the night. So that leaves me to say thank you to our 3 judges, though I hope you will stay with us for networking after. And thank you to all the pitchers. I have to say it was an extremely strong panel of pitchers this evening, and some great questions and suggestions from the judges as well. So well done to all of you. And I think, you know, we still have 130 plus attendees, so the less than 10% have dropped out over the last hour and a half, which I think just shows how great the pitches have been. So well done to everyone. Now we're going to add a poll right now so that you guys in the audience can give your votes on who you think is the best startup, and this will give us 25% of our score. 75% will come from our 3 judges. So we're just waiting for them to send through their results, and we'll tell you about that shortly. However, in the meantime, I would like to introduce our sponsor for our new sponsor who has joined us, which is Fielo. Richard, are you here to come and tell us a little bit about what Fielo does and how they work with startups?
Yes, thanks, Michael. And yeah, I agree. Great panel of pitches there. 6 strong candidates. It should be a close vote tonight, I think. So hi everyone. Yeah, I set up Fielo, handed my notice in at work 2 years ago, actually last week, a couple of weeks before my daughter was born. So my wife wasn't over the moon. It was 18 years in the making. It maybe resonates with somebody. I would like to think of it as my training and development phase, where I worked in recruitment, I worked in talent consultancy. I didn't work for a lot of companies. I worked for one company for 12 years, but I kept getting offered really challenging and great roles that I thought would add to my experience. But I finally decided then, after a stint in talent consultancy, to set up something on my own with really two aims. I've always enjoyed helping people, both from getting them a career move. And so the other aspect I wanted to do with my company was to help people that needed a second chance. So there's a number of different categories with that. So young people out of work, which is something that we're looking to hire from January. And people with neurodiverse mental health issues. And as well as that, I'm speaking to a charity about first-time offenders. So when I say help, I mean employ. In my first company, I spent 12 years and we only ever took on people that were graduates or people just out of school. So I really want to help that cohort of young people and people that need a foot up in society and get them trained up for a career in recruitment. So it's been an interesting year. We went live in July last year, had a great start to this year, as probably most companies did. But in January and February, we thought it was going to be an amazing push forward, put down a deposit on an office, due to move in May. That didn't happen, obviously. So we went from having about 40 or 50 clients with vacancies to having one client with 2 vacancies. So it's been quite a challenge, but it's been the same for everybody. So it's all a learning curve from my perspective, and it's onward and upward from my perspective. I've got a lot of experience in recruitment, predominantly on the tech side. That's my background. It outlines the stuff that we have up there. I think from my perspective, I've had some conversations with some of the collective already. One conversation was advising one of the members that he didn't need a CTO at this stage. He needed somebody with not at that level. He's doing that himself. I'm absolutely fine with that. So from my perspective, I can help with permanent, I can help with contingent, but I think the first thing is just picking up the phone or dropping me an email and having a conversation about anything that you need. So looking at salary surveys, benchmarking, just running something by me. Listen, I fully understand that every company is different, and 6 very different companies is pitched tonight is a very good example of that. And everybody will be at different levels and have different requirements. So that's really it in a nutshell, guys. My contact details are on here. It would be great to help and work with any of the members at any time. Thanks very much, Michael.
And it's brilliant to see. Congratulations on entering your own entrepreneurial journey. We applaud that, and it's great to see that you understand exactly our needs. So as Richard said, if any of you guys need any advice on a recruitment side, just want to get some opinion. Do you need to hire a CTO? How many developers? What kind of cost is it going to be? What's the best way of achieving it? Then Richard has kindly agreed to consult with any of our members. So just reach out to him and have a chat. Thank you very much, Richard. So let's see where we are in terms of our results. Okay, a few minutes more. Okay, so we will start. I will talk to you a little bit more about Entrepreneurs Collective and some of our benefits. So as I mentioned earlier, this Entrepreneurs Collective was really set up for founders to help founders. Our whole team are founders or part-time founders or ex-founders, so we really understand your pain points. And what we try and do is we look at the things that you need help with. We try and identify your pain points, and then we try and make things better. So for instance, we host events like this so that we can hopefully get some startups investment or help them refine their pitching, and also to try and connect people through the networking. We also do, workshops. We're running actually a series of 6 workshops in the new year, all aimed at helping startups start 2021 really strongly. We have access to some great mentors, some of who are here at the event, who are experts in all their fields, and they can come and you can come and understand their pick their brains. We also help on the fundraising side, so we do things like deck reviews, and we will send out your deck to some angels, get feedback. We have a whole range of credits, so I think this on the next slide. So I think we have approaching 40 or 50 partnership deals with different companies. But if we don't have a deal, you come to us, tell us what you are spending money with in your startup, and we will approach them and try and negotiate a discount on behalf of the Entrepreneurs Collective so that we can save you money and you can have a better burn rate. And that's the power of the collective, is being able to negotiate these things. So next slide. Okay, so now we're talking about results. So let us see. So firstly, we have the results from our people's vote. So interestingly, it seems there was a clear winner from the people's vote, and that is Bug. Congratulations, Bug, for a great vote.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you. In terms of the judges' vote, there was also a clear winner. Unfortunately, Bug, it was not the same winner, but you were very, very, very close. But the overall winner by the judges was SearchSmartly, who also came runners-up in the People's Vote with the Portfolio Collective. So Taha and SearchSmartly, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, congratulations on a great pitch and fielding some brilliant questions. So well done.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Okay, great stuff, guys. Okay, so that's the end of our pitch competition. I do hope you will stay behind for our next part of the session, which is the networking part. We've never had so many people at this phase, still over 100 people logged in, so it'll be brilliant, some brilliant networking. And what we do is essentially we will split you all into Zoom rooms. There will be some investors that we will try and spread around the different rooms. And then what we ask is essentially that you go around the room and we ask people to introduce themselves. So normally what we suggest is that you spend 4 or 5 minutes per person. First of all, you introduce yourself, spend a minute talking about your company, see if you can get your elevator pitch nailed here. So in one minute, can you explain what the company does? Next, we really believe in a community. You should not only offer to give something, but you should not only ask for something, but offer to give something. So we've all got different skill sets. So what we would suggest is, if you are an expert, you know, my background is data protection and legal. So maybe I would offer to say, well, if anyone needs help with their privacy policies or something else on the legal side, I can help with that. But also, presumably, if you're at a networking event, you probably want something. Either you're wanting to connect, or you have a problem with your startup, or you're looking to make investments. Whatever it is, actually, it's okay to ask. So ask the group, what is it that you need help with? And then we would suggest a couple of minutes just to discuss the things that you've asked to offer or to give. And then you know, make sure that you guys connect with each other. So if you have offered to give something, make sure you take the person's name or you pop your LinkedIn into the chat so that you can follow each other. If you don't, and you want to connect with someone and you didn't get their details on the night, then please feel free to get in touch with the events team, and we'll do our best to put you guys together. So thank you very much to everyone who's attended, making it our biggest event of the year by a considerable margin. So I'm really happy to try and make it to over 200 in January. That's our target. And what I'd like to say before we go off into the room, so you'll get a little pop-up now that will put you into a room. Just press yes and it will take you through. But given that this is our last event before Christmas, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone, and also good luck for all the startups as we go into 2021. And if you enjoyed this event, please do come to future events. And if you are a startup founder and there is a problem that you have, contact us and we will see if we can help you. Thanks again to all the judges, and we'll push you into your breakout rooms now.